Hello, it's Greg Grizzly Guys. We're back. We hope you're having a happy day wherever you're watching this video content from. As always, we'd like to thank you for your continued support of Greg Grizzly Guides in social media and writing efforts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome back. We are back today with our 50 questions and answers series. Today, we're back in the world of chess, talking about adult improvement strategies and techniques. Not a titled player. I'm a pretty good player who's studied for more than 45 years, and I study a ton these days for both a variety of good and not so good reasons going on in my life. But if it helps you, great. If it does not, we appreciate your support, especially on X at Craig Hoffman 11 there. Let's get to it. What are some key principles of opening theory? Generally, put a pawn in the center, two if you can. Develop the knights, generally before the bishops. Improve all the minor pieces. Get your pieces out and move the rooks to the center and look for tactics to attack your opponent after that. King safety as well. Get castled as soon as you can, generally. How can I improve my tactical awareness in chess? Look at the board. You'd be surprised, especially as an adult, how many people don't do that. Look at the board. It's easy to blunder, make mistakes, and miss tactics. So look at the board, look again. What are the most common endgames techniques that I should know? Ladder mate comes to mind. Certainly, you'd want to know how to king and queen, checkmate, king and rook, checkmates. There are more difficult checkmates like smother mates, as well as king and knight, or I should say bishop and knight. We saw that on stream the other day, and bishop, two bishops. You can do it, but it's easy to make a mistake and lose games. I don't spend a lot of time on the most difficult checkmate patterns. I try to be good at the most common ones. And you see that the most common checkmate or endgame patterns that you should know are the ones that keep consistently coming up in your own games. That might differ from me to you, or even depending on your level as you progress. How do I analyze my own games effectively? I generally do use the engine to find big blunders and mistakes. And then I look at games and try to make notes about what I was thinking. Of chess.com has a nice feature with like game review where some AI kind of coach helps you through those things. I think it's good to see the big blunders. I'm not really worried about, oh my God, I didn't take E4 square and control it. I'm wondering why I blundered the queen on move 5 for the zillionth time. I see that a lot on stream with people. Their mistakes are basic. And even some of the chess folks that I work with off the stream, same. They're just blundering pieces. It's not. I don't need an engine to say don't give up your queen on move 5. What resources are best for studying chess openings? You can buy courses. Generally, I like YouTube. There's a lot of free content from content creators and chess title players who really go into some of the nuances. There's a lot of master level classes. Ben Feingold, GM Ben Feingold is really common for that. St. Louis Chess Club does a lot of content for that. I also follow a chess streamer, FM Lafong Hua, who does master classes regularly on a number of topics. It helps me. Sometimes he does talk about the openings. I generally use the analysis board on Lichess for free. I go back and forth trying to find the best responses and the most to the common openings. I don't spend a lot of time on the Grob, something terrible like that, or some weird gambit. I try to get good at the basic stuff because I don't have time to look at everything. How can I develop consistent thought process during games? Checklist is common, looking for checks, threats, captures, piece optimization. Again, there's a million things that Capablanca has a nice thing about controlling your half of the board and responding to threats. And again, I'm not going to go down that. But yeah, I try to make it simple. Yes or no, it's a good move. And then I look for a better move. That's not my quote. I think that's Fisher. What are the benefits of playing a slower time controls? More time to think, but it's also doesn't help if you continue not to look at the board and blunder. A lot of people suggest rapid games, which are like 10 minutes. Classical, I think, is a waste for most intermediate and developing adult players. I don't have time to sit down and play 90-minute chess. I got time for 10 minutes, 5 minutes maybe, and 3-minute blitz. Again, there's an advantage there because it's easier to find an opponent and people like it. It's a little harder sometimes to find, especially as at a lower rating, a quality 10-minute improving player on the other side, but it is possible. So yeah, the longer time, more time to think and really understand what you're doing and look for tactics and try not to blunder, but blundering at any time control is totally possible. How do I identify and exploit my opponent's weaknesses? I generally try to think, what would my opponent play or that I would not like, and go from there. And I sometimes flip the board around in analysis to see from Black's perspective. And I play a lot of bots to see what the upper level engines would play against my best stuff, knowing that that probably works for a human too. What role does pawn structure play in strategy? A lot, especially in the center. Center pawns are generally more powerful than flank pawns in most chess end games, especially pushing pawns and trying to get them as close as you can to the other side of the board always puts pressure on the opponent to try to defend that, because you can make a queen. If you don't know that, you should know that. But yeah, and the poor pawn islands and separated pawns too far become weaknesses. Backward pawns and undefended pawns become weaknesses that an opponent can easily exploit. And for you, points where you can attack your opponent. So yeah, it is important. There's a million things. The GM that does the Chess Mind course, GM Rios, he's an expert in pawn structures. Again, there's a lot of content you can like. That's an upper level thing. Like, you're not losing because you didn't know the structure of the pawn. You're losing because you didn't defend the pawn. How can I improve my calculation skills? You're older, right? So you got to take some time and think it through and relax. And I don't focus on 10 move calculation skills. I generally do a lot of puzzle work. I'll talk about that later. 1 move, 2 move, 3 move, and maybe 4 moves. And positional play. Am I winning? How can I improve pieces? You're older. You're not going to be like a 10-year-old kid or a GM or a title player. It's not worth, like, let me spend an hour trying to find the 10 move checkmate. I don't do a lot of that, and people are free to disagree. What are the most important concepts in positional play? Generally, people will tell you control the middle and control threats on your side of the board. And sometimes what they say is the best defense is offense. So don't be afraid to go at players. But again, it's adult improver and improving players in general. Don't blunder pieces. Positional play is making sure that you're not just going to give a minor piece away or a queen away and have no chance to win. How do I handle time pressure in a game? I play pretty quickly because I try to keep my moves simple. And I understand that being down on time leads to more blunders, and a loss on time is 100%. So sometimes you just have to move, especially in shorter time formats like 5-minute and 3-minute chess. I don't play a lot of bullet, ultra bullet, and that crap. Sorry. What are some effective ways to practice chess tactics? I do a lot of chess puzzles. I do a lot of analysis board work, woodpecker method. I go as far as I can with perfect chess, and then I go back again and again and again with common responses. In the openings that I play, I don't spend a lot of time, and I use theme puzzles in the openings that I practice and play. So it's a combination. I mix it up. A general knowledge puzzle base with specific work in the openings that I play, middle games, problems that I am likely to see, and end games. How can I learn from Grandmaster games? I like them. I appreciate them. Generally, I take more from the opening theory with something that they're playing more than the middle game or late game, because they're grandmasters for a reason. But I study the great games. I appreciate the great chess, and it inspires me to improve. But no, I don't take a lot, because I'm not good enough to understand why the E4 square back 20 moves ago was important. So what should I focus on in my chess training sessions? I was talking about that with somebody this morning offline, and the reality is that I think they play too many games. 80% of my training is tactics, puzzles, opening theory, and work with the chess. I don't spend a lot of time playing, because I think I can get more out of focused on tactics, puzzles, and opening theory than I can playing some random person in the pool for an hour. That's just me. Although there is value in playing and the pressure and things. So that's good. How do I choose the right chess book for my level? I read a lot of chess books. I've read Emanuel Lasker's book. I've read other books on chess theory. I read the one I was talking about, GM Rios, on pawn structures and things. But a lot of it, today it's all YouTube and broken down in pieces and more accessible for an average player who probably wouldn't understand things. It's different when you read it and when you hear it and see it in practical examples. So chess books, I would honestly recommend chess content from title players who are experts in some opening, some middle game content, or end game tactic. What are the best online platforms for playing chess? Lichess, chess.com. Everybody, 99.9% of the people I know play. There are other ones that are growing, but those are the main ones. How do I improve my opening repertoire? Less is more. I don't spend a lot of time on a zillion openings. I play 2 for white, 2 for black, and I know them really, really well. And then I spend, again, 80% of my time there and 20% of my time looking at other openings and common responses that people might play against me. You're an adult improver. You don't have 10 hours a day likely. You got an hour, and you got to make it count. So I make it count with focused practice to get effective results. What are the signs of a good move versus a bad move? Generally, they're not some grand sweeping move in the middle game for most people. They're a slight improvement that helps you create a threat, a check, or a better position. Bad moves that look too good to be true, in my general experience, are. It doesn't mean you shouldn't take advantage, especially at lower level. It's sometimes hard to tell because people do blunder. And so a big sweeping queen move across the board can lead to a quick checkmate. But generally, when you get up the ladder, small improvements and focus on defending and attacking and holding the middle is more common. So it's going to be, oh, this pawn move, oh, this bishop moved a little, this maintaining the position and hoping the opponent blunders, especially at the beginner and intermediate levels. How do I manage my emotions during a chess match? Separate the two. Chess is chess. It's like a job. I go in, I tell my folks that I talk with chess all the time. I clock in, I play, I clock out. There's no emotion. I save that for after the game. Of course I want to win. Of course I get disappointed if I make a blunder or a mistake, but I try to stay right, dead set in the middle, and I don't let outside stuff affect me. I save that for later. Let's see, what are the key differences between blitz and classical chess? Blitz is shorter, 5 or 3 minutes, and classical chess is generally geared toward the really higher level player who puts a lot of time, energy, and effort. Blitz, you're going to be subjected to more gambits and tricks like the fried liver. Classical chess, people generally don't fall for that stuff, so they play more principled chess. It can be a little easier to play from a practical standpoint than the blitz. I get caught by a lot of stuff. I'm like, how can I use chess puzzles to improve my skills? Again, pattern recognition is number one. And so the more puzzles and the more experience you have in common positions, the better. And you understand how to make a move slightly quicker in a game. And maybe it's a skill that's built up over time. You don't get better from 10 puzzles. You get better from like 10,000 puzzles. What are the importance of studying end games? Yeah, you're going to lose. You're up and you can't close it out. That's a shame. So knowing what to do, especially in time scrambles, even a little bit better in certain, again, common end game positions, leads to more wins. And when you don't, you're going to get either draws or blunders and lose winnable games, which is a shame. Again, endgame puzzles are great. There's a million, and endgame content on the internet is everywhere. How do I develop a winning mindset in chess? You have to believe in you when nobody else does. And you have to understand that I have put in the work. I'm doing the daily grind to be ready for the games. The game is not the time to start deciding that you want to win. Winning happens long before you sit down to play chess. What are some common mistakes beginners make? They don't look at the board. They blunder pieces. They don't take the middle. They fall for stupid gambits because they didn't look, and they feel that pawns are unimportant and it's okay to lose one. It's not. They're important pieces. And most of them in the beginning overlook the importance as the king as a piece in endgames, especially when there's no queen on the board. Significance of controlling the center. Most chess theory, the player who controls the center wins the game, although that's not always true. It's a balance, left, middle, and right. But generally, if you have no control of the center, you probably, especially at lower levels, will lose the game eventually. How do I prepare for a tournament? You prepare the same way you would just for a single match. You get ready, you understand who you're going to play, the time format, you understand the rules, and you do the opening theory, the middle game practice, and the end game preparation. And if you have a chance to study your opponent, that's always good. And you don't worry too much about the tournament because you know that you've put in the work. What are the best ways to learn from losses? Don't lose. Yeah, I'm a competitive person. What I lose from losses is don't lose. Don't do that. And so there, again, if it's a consistent one game happens, if it's consistent, I blunder on move 5 in some openings. I've told somebody the other day, your opening is way above your pay grade. Play something simple. They're like, oh, Craig, your chess is so simple. It is simple because I'm not good enough to play advanced, super high level GM chess, and I know that that's a quick path to getting my butt kicked. So I learn from losses. And if it's a consistent pattern, I reconsider my opening. I do more puzzle work, tactic work, and end game work, and look for I don't look at one game. I'm looking at 10 games, 20 games, 100 games. What do I do consistently to win? And what do I do consistently to lose? And I try to do more of the winning stuff rather than the losing stuff. How can I effectively use chess software for analysis? Again, there's a million stockfish engines and things. You use it however you need it. If it helps you improve, you're not going to hear from me that I hate that you use the engine and that's all you do. If you go from 1,000 to 1,200 to 1,500 to 2,000, you did something right. If you're stuck on a plateau, which also happens at like 1,100, 1,200, 1,300, or even 1,500, then it's something to reconsider. But I use the chess engine. I use the analysis board. I've talked about that a lot today. I like it a lot. And I go from there. It's simple. The computer is rarely wrong. Sorry. What are the advantages of playing in a chess club? I do have a little chess club on Twitch in the Benoni and Smoky Club with, again, FM Lefang I don't get a lot from the chess because most of the players are, no offense to them, not very good. There's a couple that are pretty good titled, and FM Lefang is, of course, an elite level player and chess coach. But the support, there's a Discord, and talking about chess and playing chess and seeing people struggle and understanding how they get better and things that they do, and just a positive chess environment helps me a lot. But the chess part, no, I don't really get better at chess. No offense from watching the stream. How do I create a balanced training schedule? I usually do a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 opening, 1/3 middle game, 1/3 end game. And again, within that, I go 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, for example, new opening, review opening, and some tactic pattern. I try to break it up. And again, what I'm doing well, I want to do better. And what I'm really struggling with, I spend more time on that. What are the most effective ways to study chess openings? Again, I use the analysis board on Lichess. It's completely free. I look for the common responses and I study online for the gambits and tricks and any advantage that I can get. But again, I'm not winning games because I got 0.02 advantage out of the opening. I'm winning games because I did not blunder in the opening and I have set up a good position. And there's a lot of system openings and there's a lot of upper level, more difficult openings that I enjoy studying, but I generally don't play them in a game. I put a pawn in the center, get my knights out, and I could beat anyone up to about 2,000 with probably, if I was really trying, in something beyond 5 minutes with little trouble. That's why I don't play the lower. I'm good. Simple chess. Simple chess is advanced chess. So there we go. How can I improve my endgame techniques, puzzles, master classes, and playing them yourself again and again and again? There's no substitute for hard work and understanding more, not just playing them, but understanding why that works. The why. Doing it is okay, but understanding why you're doing it, the why that's a blunder, why that's a mistake, and why this is better is better. And understand that end games are difficult for most players. And so the more time you can spend on that, the better you will become. And try not to get into difficult end games if you can help it. What are the psychological aspects of competitive chess? Yeah, people go a lot. We had some loss in the chess community again last week. I talked about it on the other chess video. It happens, and even on the stream, I like those guys a lot. But some of them, oh my God, I'm not 2,000. Oh my God, I'm only 1,400. I think my current chess.com rating is 247. Oh no. And I promise you, if we played chess, I'd be on you like a white on rice. That's great for Japan, right? I'll be on you like white on rice. No offense. I would in my rate. And you'd be like, oh my God, that person at 247 kicked and I would. Yeah. So stay in the middle. There are more important things in life than your chess rating and winning and losing. Of course, when I'm playing chess, I want to win. I want to win every game. But my day goes on, my life goes on because I come home to people who love and support me, and I believe in me, and I know that I'm not going to win every game. That's unrealistic. I know that I do the work, and whatever game, win, lose, or draw, I have given my best effort. But yeah, it can really break people up. And if it does that, I question why people continue to play chess. There's a million other things that you could do in life and living. How do I handle difficult positions during a game? I try not to get into them. If I get into them, simple moves generally are the best moves. Not always. But again, when you're in that position, it's difficult. If I'm down a piece, it's really hard to play. If I'm down on time, it's really hard to play. If I'm getting nearly checkmated, it's really hard to play, even if I'm a GM. So I try not to get into the situation in the first place. What is the role of intuition in chess? I don't like it. Hope chess is a quick road to checkmate and losses. Intuition is building of basic skills that you don't have to guess, Yeah, don't guess in chess. You'll lose for sure. Know that you're making a good move. Don't guess. I think it's a good move. Of course, there is some of that because you can't know every move. But yeah, that's based on strategy, experience, puzzles, and the work you put in before the game. Maybe then you could call that whatever, intuition. But yeah, don't just guess. You're going to get checkmated. How can I develop a personal style of play? You're not good enough to develop a personal style of play, so I don't worry about that. So I play whatever the game dictates. Sometimes I'm an aggressive player. Sometimes I'm a passive player. Sometimes I'm a tactical player. And sometimes I'm a losing player. It depends. So yeah, I'm not, no, but you're not good enough for a personal style of play. So I don't really worry about that. What are the best strategies for playing against stronger opponents? Simple positions that you can play quickly to maybe get a clock advantage and trying not to blunder. They're stronger opponents for a reason, and you probably are going to lose. But you don't go in like that. You don't want to beat yourself. If an opponent checkmates me because they're 500 elo higher, hey, that's the way it goes. How do I assess my progress in chess? That I get better every day and that I've done the work that I should to improve every day. If I do that, I care zero about my rating. I care zero about win-loss record. I just understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint. What are the benefits of reviewing classical chess literature? Again, a lot of it gets outdated quickly with the advent of computers. I was reading an older book about the Ruy Lopez from 1850 or 60. Some of those lines people know well, and you're going to lose pretty quickly. But the strategy and technique and philosophy of that kind of holds true with a lot of strategy about taking the middle, good pawn structures, and tactical play. So I focus on that, but I don't take a lot from that. Again, the videos today kind of put that in bite-sized consumable quantities that people can enjoy. So I watch a lot more of that in the master classes and thing. I'm not good enough to really take a lot from a book that was written 200 years ago by a grandmaster or world champion. How can I use chess videos to enhance my learning? Yeah, again, I watch the video, I stop the video, I go to the analysis board and I try it myself. And if I don't understand, I watch the video again, and then I play it hundreds, if not thousands of times in technique, and I try to get better from there. Yeah, watching chess videos, watching chess content does generally not make you a better chess player. Putting that into practical application does. What are the key elements of a successful chess strategy for an adult improver and somebody intermediate, even lower advanced or beginner especially? Don't blunder and give away your pieces. That's why you lose. You lose because you just didn't look. So I start there. It seems simple, but yeah, I don't need chess theory to beat you. I don't need middle game strategy to beat you. And I don't need any end game knowledge to beat you in chess if you're under 2,000. I'm just not going to blunder. If you beat me, you beat me. But yeah, I don't need a lot. How do I improve my chess preparation against specific opponents? Look at their games, look at what they do, play puzzles and tactics, theme specific to what they do. And yeah, I mean, again, you're not good enough to get a lot out of studying your opponent. I studied for the FM Lafong Hua. I studied his 60 games from his opponent. I mean, I can tell you generally what that guy was going to do and what he did in the game. It was kind of true, but I don't think that helped Lafong play much. He studied one day and played pretty well. You're not going to get that much advantage by just looking at one specific opponent for like 3 days and then go play. It doesn't work like that. It's a long, if you studied it long term, maybe, but like, oh, I play 90 person next week. Nah, it's a waste. Just focus on your game and what you do. Do what you do well and let the other person take care of themselves. What are the best practices for maintaining focus during long games? Close your eyes, take a deep breath, look at the board, look away, look again. Don't get worked up over anything, and understand that you're older and focus does wane, and stick to the checklist. Have something that you can lean on, especially in long classical games or longer time formats that you can hold on to when perhaps your age shows itself. How can I effectively use chess notation for analysis? I mean, you can look at it, you can understand the openings if that's your thing, and look like Hikaru looking up and, B1, bishop B2, checkmate on the, I mean, if that's your thing, hey, I don't take a lot from chess notation. I try to put my pieces on happy squares and keep them happy. What are the most important factors in making a decision during a game? Look at the candidate moves. Those are the moves that are likely that I could play. Again, checks, captures, threats, and piece optimization. And then I look again for a way to not blunder, and I look at what my opponent could not or could do or cannot do in a given position. I look at my half of the board and look for threats, especially, and I look at my king safety. If I can do all that, then I make the best move that I can and then go from there. How do I balance studying theory with practical play? I study theory and puzzles and tactics 80 to 85%, and I play very little because I think playing is an outgrowth of solid technique in opening theory study, middle game tactic practice, and end game mastery. So playing is the easy part. Music was the same. I practice and practice and practice. The concert was the easy part because I already put in the work. Although people disagree, there are people who have gotten to 2000, which is generally a master level rating, by playing their way through blunders and poor play. But I just choose. I don't have that kind of time, so I choose the effective paths of opening theory study, middle game tactics, puzzles, and end game study. What are the most common traps in various openings? There are a million of them. There. You go to any video, type any opening traps in Ruy Lopez. Fried liver was popular for a while. There's an alien gambit out there. I mean, again, the content creators do all of those. If something's kicking your patukas in a game over and over and again, like the wayward queen attack is popular, get the queen out and then beat you down the right side, take a rook, and the game's over. If you want to learn how to defend that, it takes like 5 minutes in it. Like Remote Chess Academy has a great video about that. There's a million people that do that. The common traps that people watch the same. Here's a tip: people watch the same 5 chess content creators and they play the same openings and gambits. So I look at those and I look and I know, and there you go. If you beat me with a gambit, hey, congratulations, my day goes on. Last question: how can I stay motivated to improve my chess skills? Realize that breaks are okay. Long breaks generally not so much, that it's a marathon, not a sprint. I said that before. And that as an older player, there are limits of time, energy, and effort that you can put into your chess game. And so you have to be realistic about the progress or the lack thereof that you are or are not going to make as an improving player. Understand that you have to do the work. Understand that, yes, you are going to likely lose more than you might have at 10 years old, 20 years old, or 30 years old. And that overall, you do have some advantage because you are more focused than the kids, and players easily get distracted. And perhaps you're a little more mentally tough than the younger players are about wins and losses and seeing the long-term progress that you make. But it's important, I think, to reach out and have a little community to talk with. Even a playing partner can help a lot. I get a lot out of talking to the community. And I mentioned him a couple of times in this video, FM Lafong Hua. He helps me a lot with questions and support and energy and effort. So again, you're only going to be as good as you can be in chess. And if that's 1,000 ELO, great. If it's 2,000, okay. If you become a title player, which is my goal eventually in chess, that's super, super wonderful. But you believe in you when nobody else does. And finally, you have to understand that there is more to life than chess at any age. That's it. And have a great, great day.